Very good morning to everybody. I will wait for a couple of more minutes for students to join in, and then we begin with the class. Good morning, Prajakta. All right. Today's class will not be as heavy as the prior classes. Definitely, today's class we are going to revolve around topics which are simple, easy to understand, and you can easily score marks. So do not worry. A minute more and we begin. All right. So today's first topic that I would be taking is something that you have done in your earlier classes. I guess any of your grammar would begin with this base. And this particular topic is subject verb agreement. Now, you all know there are times when, despite knowing English, you make silly errors with regards to is, are, am, was, were, has, have, had. And when you make those silly errors, grammatically the sentence is incorrect and you fail to score marks. You fail to get marks. So today, let's touch those rules, those aspects that you had learned in your earlier classes. Okay, let's begin with this. There are still students joining in. Okay, giving them a minute's more time. All right. Now, subject verb agreement. We all know that the verb should be in agreement with its subject. Now, what do I mean by this? Verb should always be in agreement with the subject of the sentence. So simple, if I have singular noun or a singular subject, my verb definitely would be singular. And if I have plural subject, plural noun, my verb needs to be plural. Very simple to understand. See, let's talk about basic thing. We have a particular tense. Let's see the singular verb here and a plural verb here. Suppose I'm talking about present tense. So for present tense, tell me what auxiliaries can I use for singular verb? If I'm talking about he, she, it, singular verb, I can use is. Very good. Are. And singular is also I. So I can also use am here. Correct? But I cannot use are in singular verb. Correct. I can only use is and am. Plural verb, I can use are. Perfect. So for he, she, it, they are singular. I would use is. With I would use am. And with we, they, we can use are. Clear? Suppose there is a past tense. The sentence is in past tense. Here, what can I use here? For singular, was. Very good. Can I use anything else? No, I cannot use anything else. For plural, I would use were. Very good. Were. Next, if I have present perfect tense. Present perfect. Very good. Here, has and have. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Has. And here I would have. So this is the basic rules. Had would only be used in past tense. And in both the cases, singular and plural, you can use the word had. I had been to Delhi. They had been to Delhi. Did, okay. Now it is in simple past tense that you use the word did. And again, it is applicable to both singular as well as plural. Understood? Now the problem is not this. The problem is a lot many students believe and they have this notion with nouns, okay? With regards to nouns. If I attach S in the end, okay? S in the end, it makes it plural. It becomes plural. Simple example I can give you, if I'm talking about one boy, if I attach S with it, it becomes boys. Similarly, if I'm talking about school, I attach S with it and it becomes schools, and this becomes plural. But it does not happen the same when I talk about verbs. With verbs, if I use S in the end, it is singular. It is singular. You must have heard. She goes to the school. S. You get it? So when I say she goes to the school every morning, goes is my singular verb, and this is where students make mistake. I hope this is clear. And similarly, if I want to at all write a plural sentence, I would say they go to the school every morning. Okay, this is the basic thing you need to understand before we roll on into understanding the rules. Okay, let us proceed further. Now let's talk about certain rules. The very first rule with regards to subject-verb agreement is whenever I have singular subject student, it is followed by singular verb. Shubham watches television till late evening. Now here, watches is my singular verb. And why have I used a singular verb? I'm using a singular noun, Shubham, singular noun. And again, focus on the word watches. I end it with es. Kashish, you can raise your doubt in the chat section. Okay. Plural subject, plural verb, they watch. Now, initial sentence, She sings. Yes, Prajakta, this is fine. She sings. You attach S with the verb and make it singular. They watch television. Here I'm not using S simply because I have plural subject they. I'm referring to a group of people possibly. Understood? Third very rule. When two or more subjects are connected by the conjunction and, I am talking about two singular subjects, students. Raj and Neev were often seen together outside the criminal's office. Now here, were. I'm talking about two subjects and both are singular. Raj singular, Neev singular. And so when they come together, they become a collective person. Together, they are plural in nature. Two people seen outside the criminal's house. So we are using were. Absolutely fine. Fourth one. When two subjects are joined by and, but represent one idea, the verb will be singular. Now see here, Raj and Neev were often seen together. Raj and Neev are two different people who were spotted outside the criminal's house. Okay, they are not one idea. But when I say I had bread and butter for my breakfast. Now, bread and butter, you would never eat bread, a piece of bread and then a spoon of butter. Would you be doing that? No, it goes well together, bread and butter. And both the things are consumed together at the same time. So this particular idea, bread and butter, is a single notion, single idea. They represent single idea and therefore, whenever you are using Ansh, you can use are if the sentence is in present tense. Very simple, beta. Yeah, you can. I have written the sentence in past tense. Okay, I had bread and butter for my breakfast. So whenever I am using an auxiliary with respect to bread and butter, I would use singular verb. Now here I have used had definitely with my subject I. How would I frame a sentence where bread and butter is the subject of the sentence? Bread and butter is my favorite breakfast. So bread and butter is. I hope everybody is understanding. Okay. Similarly, the next example, time and tide waits for none. Now here, time and tide, singular connotation. Okay. And so I'm using the word waits. Waits for none. You would not say wait for none. The idea is not time, clock, and the waves. Time and tide goes together, saying that whatever happens on the planet, nothing is going to wait for me. You know, things will happen the way it is planned. It cannot happen at my whims and fancies. You get it? Similarly, honor and glory is the ultimate reward of a soldier who wishes to lay down his life for the motherland only wants in return honor and glory. People to remember him, people to remember him as a martyr, okay, who laid down his life for the glory of his country. So honor and glory here is a singular connotation, is the ultimate reward for a soldier. And so we are using is and we are not using the word are. Very clear? So whenever you have such a sentence in your CET examination, look whether you're talking about two singular verbs or you're talking about a singular connotation. On to the next one, when subjects are joined by each and every. Now here a lot of students make this mistake. The verb is always singular. Each man and each woman. My focus is on the word each. And here I want every single person. I do not want any single person to be missed out, any man to be missed out, any woman to be missed out. So every man, each man and each woman is given certain duties, is given. Since my focus is on every singular person. Very clear? Next one, every student. Again, here the connotation would simply mean I'm talking about every student, every single student is responsible for his own destiny. Okay, let's proceed further. I just keep this for 30 more seconds. If you have any doubts, raise your doubt. Okay, proceeding further. Next one. When two singular nouns refer to the person or thing, okay, here you are referring to a singular person or a singular thing, singular verb follows. Listen to this one carefully. The politician and poet. Okay, now here, my meaning of this sentence has departed from the city. The politician and poet. Possibly we have a person who is politically involved, is a member of parliament, but has been a poet throughout his life. This person has departed from the city. I'm talking about the single person itself. We all know too many actors are politicians now. They are all MLAs or MPs now. Okay, for example, if I want to say Hema Malini. So the politician and actress has departed from the city. I'm not talking about two different people. I'm talking about Hema Malini itself. And I'm giving her introduction as the politician as well as the actress. Clear? Sure. So here, always remember, even, yeah, too many people for that matter, too many. The accountant and cashier is absconding. Okay, coming to the word absconding, somebody who would loot things and run away. ठीक है, भाग जाना is absconding. सिर्फ भाग नहीं रहे हैं, they are looting things and they are running away. भाग रहे हैं चुराए हुए पैसों के साथ. So this is absconding. और इनका कुछ अता पता नहीं है. Absconding. So the accountant and cashier. Again, the similar person. I'm talking about one single person itself. This person is absconding. But how would you know that I'm referring to two different people? So see here, the politician and the poet. This the gives me an idea. I'm talking about two different people. Possibly one is a politician and another poet. They celebrate their birth anniversary today. Fine, two different people. And so rather than using celebrates, I have used the word celebrate. Correct? Okay. The accountant and the cashier gives me an idea. I'm talking about two different people. So the accountant and the cashier are leaving for Jaipur tonight. Two important people in a company are leaving for Jaipur tonight. Clear? So watch out for such words in your exam. Make sure whether the is used twice or the is used single time. So accordingly, your verb would change. Fine. Now you would ask me, Prince, it is in singular. Prince, when you use S with a verb, it is singular. When you use without S, it is plural. Prince, the accountant and the cashier are two different people. दो अलग अलग लोग हैं. इसीलिए I am using are. जहां पर फर्स्ट सेंटेंस जो हमने ब्लू में लिखा है, द अकाउंटेंट एंड कैशियर, ये दो सिमिलर लोग, एक ही लोग है, एक ही जन के बारे में मैं बात कर रही हूं, इसीलिए वहां पे इज है. क्लियर नाउ? Okay. Seventh one. Tanisha, the politician and poet has departed from the city. He has left the city. The politician and poet, politician by profession, poet possibly by hobby, and has earned fame being a poet. Modern day time has an Instagram page as a poet, but serves the nation as the politician, possibly. Or maybe a poet turned politician. This is what I mean to say here, the politician and poet. Poet turned politician has departed from the city. And so I'm using the word has. I hope, Tanisha, your doubt is now clear. Super. Moving further, again, this one needs your utmost attention. When two or more singular subjects are connected by or, either or, neither nor, they take singular verb. Okay, let's see how, and let us also see some exceptions. Everything in red is exception. Let's see. Our joy or grief is the result of our own actions. If you are happy, it is the result of your action. If you are sad, you are grieving, it is the result of your own action. So our joy or grief, दोनों में से कोई भी चीज, फिलहाल अगर आप खुश हो या अगर आप दुखी हो, it is the result of your own actions. And so we are using is here. Either his sister or he. Talking about two different people. I have two different people. I have a sister and I have he himself with me. And I'm confused. Who should I blame? So either of them is to be blamed. Either of them is to be blamed. So again, it is singular. You will not say either a sister or he are to be blamed. Why are to be blamed? A silliest error here. 1 second, I'll just change it. Blamed. Is to be blamed. I cannot say are because I'm not blaming two people together. I am still yet to decide who is to be blamed. His sister or he himself. Neither the principal nor the manager was present. Now, why was present? Both my nouns, both principal and manager are singular. Singular was present at the function. Neither the principal or manager, nahi the, zero subject. I have nobody present at the function. But now, if I have to use plural, there is one condition to use plural. My statement should go this way: neither the principal nor the teachers were present at the event. Now you would ask me, ma'am, can we replace, can we shuffle the position of the words and still use the word? I would say no. You cannot frame a sentence. You cannot, students. I'm writing this for you on the board. The teachers, neither the teachers nor the principal. And then you say were present. Now you would ask me, why is this not allowed? Simply because when you are using neither nor together, neither nor, this particular conjunction, always remember the singular verb would appear in the beginning and the plural one would take a place after nor. Singular, this particular thing is incorrect. Let me just put a cross. This is incorrect. Neither the teachers nor the principal. Structure is a syntax error. It's an error. So incorrect. I hope I'm clear now. Your basic understanding is clear now. Super. Either the old man or his sons are to be blamed. I focused on the next word. I focused on the word sons and immediately I used are. Clear? Easy to remember certain rules? Okay. I keep this for 30 more seconds. Either his sister or he is to blame, yeah, or is to be blamed. Perfect. You can write that way, Gargi, but the spelling of principal should be Principal. Principal. No, I just gave another set of sentence. Prajakta, it's just another set of sentence here. Okay, clear? Got it? Fine. Let's proceed. One second. Neither sentence. 1 second. Neither. Hold on. Which neither sentence do you want me to explain? Tanishka? Neither, the last one, neither the principal nor the teachers. When I read the sentence, principal is singular, teachers is plural, correct? Teachers is plural. And so I'm using were. Whenever you have neither, nor, either, or, make sure if both of my nouns are singular, singular verb, and if either of them is plural, I will always check. My verb will always go in sync with the nearest noun. My nearest noun is teachers. It is plural, so my verb is plural. Clear? Super. Next one. Students, be bit spontaneous when you're asking your doubts. Next one. Collective nouns take singular verb as they represent the idea of oneness. Now, always remember when you're talking about collective nouns, bouquet of flowers. Now, when you look at the word flowers, you cannot be just using are. The bouquet of flowers are delivered. The bouquet of flowers is delivered because when too many flowers come together, only then you can make a bouquet, right? So the idea of oneness, this is what I'm talking about, the idea of oneness. Now here the first very sentence, the jury has delivered the verdict. Verdict, the final decision. And jury is a group of people who dispense justice. Once upon a time, we had this system of jury. If you have seen the movie Rustam, you know that, it's not the particular judge who is delivering his verdict. We have a panel. We have a panel of jury who were assigned the duty to hear the entire case and then put the view. So the jury has delivered the verdict. Here we would have as collective people who are involved in one particular case and need to give their opinion on the same case. But now if I use the word the jury members, here I'm talking about all of the members, okay, were divided in their opinion. I would give you same example of the movie Rustam. You had, that there was a chance where there was 50-50 opinion. Some half of the jury members, they felt that Rustam is guilty, and the others felt he was not guilty. So the jury members were, I used the word, I am using the word members, and so I am using were with it. Clear? Clear? Second example, the committee has issued its report. Committee, again, group of people, collective noun, singular subject, singular verb. But immediately I have changed my sentence to the committee members. When I talk about members, they are divided on a minor issue. Divided meaning they have difference of opinion, clash of opinion. This particular part, any problem, anybody? Simultaneously ask me the doubt so that I can clear it. I proceed further. Okay. Very good, Prajakta. Okay, if two nouns are joined by with, or as well as. Now, be careful here. With and, the rule is different. But when I'm using with as well as, these two, one conjunction and one preposition, the verb agrees with the first noun. I check the first noun. The mother with all her children dash invited. Now here my basic invitation went to the mother. I must have given the invitation to the mother and must have told her, you along with your children can attend so and so ceremony. So when I say the mother, this is my singular and my verb would be in agreement to this particular subject. So the mother was invited. Now whomsoever she wants to get along with her, she is allowed to get along. Understood? The mother is given the invitation. And when the mother is given the invitation, naturally her children are going to be with her. Definitely. Okay. Similarly, my friends as well as my teacher are invited for the ceremony. If I look at this particular sentence carefully, I started my sentence with my friends. So assuming I have too many friends whom I have called for the ceremony, and my teacher as well as my teacher. This is singular. This is not plural. My friends, this part is plural. But as I told you, when you have as well as, when you have the word with, my agreement would be with the first noun, with the first subject. So my friends being plural, my verb is also plural. Simple to understand. Simple. But this exception is only when we are using with and as well as. Similarly, the king along with as well as his courtiers is to attend the games. The king would never attend a place on by his own, or he's traveling on his own without his army and guards and his courtiers. And so it is assumed when the king is invited, a lot many other people would also flock with him. So the king as well as his courtiers, it is understood, is to attend the games. For the first sentence as well, the mother with all her children, the mother would not just keep her children, and attend a function. She would definitely bring along her children for the function. And so was invited. Assumed. This part, any doubt, students? Okay, I'll just proceed further. One second. Very. Now words like either, neither, each, everyone, many, all of these words would always follow singular verb. Okay, but they are not in the form of conjunctions. They are not in the form of conjunctions. Let's see. He asked me whether either of the servants was suitable for the job. So he's asking me, I have two options, with regards to servant A, servant B. And I don't know who would be completing the task today or this particular minute, say. So I have to choose from either of the servants who is best suitable for the job. So he asked me whether either of the servants was suitable for the job, and I'm using was here. Neither of the two men was entrusted with the task. Two men. I have two people, and none of them are trustworthy, so that I can entrust them with the task. So again, was. My subject is zero. Neither singular nor plural. Zero subject, assumed to be singular. Each of these spectacular temple. Now again, each. when I say each, I'm talking about all of the temples somebody has just mentioned. For example, if you're talking about Konark temple, it is in India. You're talking about Tirupati Balaji temple, it is in India. You're talking about any temple which has magnificent carvings, it is in India. You're talking about sculpted sculptures, beautiful sculpted structures, they are all in India. So each of these spectacular temples is found in India. This was either, neither, every, such kind of, 1 second. Okay, fine. Yeah, perfect. Nouns which appear plural but are singular in meaning take singular verb. Now, often we assume certain words are written in a way as if they appear to be plural. Mathematics, it ends with S, and we feel this is plural. No, this is not plural. Mathematics, simple math, is one of the mainstream subjects. Almost all of the fields would require basic mathematics at least. So it is one of the mainstream subjects. Similarly, English, it is one of the mainstream subjects in India at least. Today's news. Now, let this news be a singular news or plural news. News is news. You cannot have new as singular and news as plural. No. So today's news is tragic enough to be read. It's better one does not read the news because it is too much tragic, too much drama, too much terrible things happening around. His wages and salary, to one basic difference is wages is given to somebody who works for per hour, or maybe the person just does the work, takes the money and go away. His wages is the reason why he left the job. Salary, it is always given to you at the end of the month. So his wages is the reason. Whatever be the wage, be it 50 rupees an hour or 100 rupees an hour, that does not matter. I'm talking about the subject wages. My focus is on that particular subject. So wages is the reason why he left the job. Clear? Last but not the least, when a plural noun denotes a quality or quantity as a whole, singular verb follows. 10 tons of coal is loaded. Does not matter how many tons. Important is coal is loaded on the truck. And of course, only one coal cannot be loaded whatsoever. In one truck, I have just had tons of coal. Similarly, 50 quintals of wood was not enough for the bonfire. How much ever wood was put in the bonfire, it was not enough. I hope all the rules here are cleared and we proceed on to the exercise together. Exercise. Okay. Let's see some exercise. Yes, Prajakta, ask me a doubt. I'm waiting. Okay, hold on. 10th sentence, first two you want. He asked me whether either of the servants was suitable. मेरे पास दो servants हैं और मुझे ये नहीं समझ में आ रहा है which servant should I assign a task to. So he asked me कौन से servant को कौन सा job दूं, A को कौन सा job, B को कौन सा job. तो individually हम बात कर रहे हैं, so was. Second one, neither of the two men. मेरे पास दो लोग हैं और दोनों ही टास्क नहीं कर सकते हैं, इसीलिए उन्हें टास्क नहीं दिया गया है. दोनों को नहीं दिया गया है, 0. जैसे हम कहते हैं nobody is present in the class, कोई भी नहीं है. Prajakta, I hope your doubt is cleared. Okay, let's quickly move on to, no worries. Let's quickly move on to certain exercise questions. Okay, everything dash lost in the floods. Quickly give me the answers. Was lost in the flood. Very good. Much dash to be done if any improvement is to be seen. Require or requires? Much. Much. No, Gargi, much I really do not know what the quantity is. I do not know. Uncountable noun here for that matter, and so requires. Very good, Joey. Several dash have made the mistake of jumping into the bandwagon. Bandwagon, for those who don't know, something that is currently in weight, currently in fashion. You putting Snapchat and maintaining a streak is bandwagon right now. So several have. Okay, I already gave the answer. Okay, yeah, here you have nothing. I already gave the answer. Okay. Neither dash to die such a violent death. Neither deserves. Okay, correct. Singular verb, singular subject. Very good, Ojas. Okay, I guess students have now joined in quickly. Fewer dash recruited from the southern states of to the IAS cadre. B, when I say B, you are using is, are, was, were, all of these. So fewer are or fewer were. Okay, you would look at the MCQ questions, okay, the options, and accordingly put down the answer. Both dash in critical condition, both are or both were in critical condition. Yeah, both, again, I'm talking about two people. Many dash applied for the vacancies in SBI. Many have applied. Very good. Others dash into the demon of corruption. Others give into the demon of corruption. A lot many people do not realize that they have jumped into the flood or jumped into the sea. Do not realize this. Another dash in the lounge, very important. Another. With another, I assume that there is only one person. Another person, that way. So waits. Another waits in the lounge waiting to attack. Nothing dash to be in order. Nothing seems. Again, singular verb, singular subject, singular verb. Gargi, spelling error. Enough dash said about him. Enough. I cannot count this enough, but enough. Enough is said about him. Very good. The fleet of ships. Again, when I talk about fleet, this is collective. So the fleet of ships is in the harbor. Good. Very good. Neither song nor dance, nothing of that sort entertains her. Very good, Joey. Neither the teacher nor the students. Now here tell me, neither the teacher nor the students are found in the class. You take the nearest verb. We are taking the nearest subject. My fault. Nearest subject. Black and white. Black and white. Together, one connotation is the theme. Hello, Sharvari. Good, good. Good, Suhani. Good, Durvang. Very good, Harshit. Either you or I dash made a mistake. You have so many options. Either you or I have made a mistake. Again, either or you check the nearest verb. It's I. So I have made a mistake. The old man along with his sons. I have the word along with. Along with is under surveillance. Very good. A pair of socks dash left to buy is left to buy. Pair is definitely considered to be one singular unit. Super. That's good. I mean, well done. Let's take. Okay, now since you could solve this, quickly solve this MCQ for me. Your Navneet MCQ. First answer, quick. Friends, you can go back to whatever presentations I have given, whiteboard presentations, and you can ask your doubt later in the doubt session, okay? Or refer to the YouTube video, which would be uploaded after the class. Pause the video and go through it. Put it down. That's the only way out. Choose the correct option. The first option is mother and her daughter. Cook or cooks. Two people employed together to work. So cook. Both of them cook. Cooks is incorrect. Suruchi, cooks is incorrect. Two singular noun joined together, the second rule. So question number 70. Choose the proper form of verb as per the subject and fill in the blanks. Everyone dash done a good job. Everyone has done a good job. Very good. Choose the proper form of verb as per the subject and fill in the blanks. Neither Ritesh nor Alok plays well. It's not play, but plays. Students who are giving out wrong answers, make sure you are understanding. Choose the proper form of verb as per the subject, either of the two. Either of the two. Very good, Velisa is guilty. Everyone dash mistakes. Everyone makes mistake, considering each of them. Next one. The committee dash approved of it. I gave you this. The committee has collective noun. Okay. Super, super, super. Now, let me take you to another topic today. Otherwise, we'll just keep on doing this one. Now, when we talk about subject-verb agreement, the next important thing I'm taking up is word formation. And when I say I'm talking about word formation here, you must have learned in your earlier days where, you know, one single word can be formed, can be used as noun, can be used as verb, can be used as adjective. So here, when I talk about the noun form, I would always think of the word as the subject of the sentence or the object of the sentence. And so, to make sure that my word is changed into a noun, what would I do? I would try to use his, her. This is not a word chain. It is word formation. So his, her, the, I would try to use these words before the word. For example, my word is beautiful. You know, beautiful, if I want to describe somebody, this somebody is very beautiful. But then if I have to use this word as the noun of the sentence, I am talking about the beauty of the person. Beauty becomes my noun form. Now, always remember, whenever you are making the noun form of a verb, you are attaching ness, meant, shun, son, or why. These are the prefix. Sorry, these are the suffix you are using with the word. When I say suffix, a word, and you are attaching something next to it. When I say kindness, kind is the base form, root form of the word. And I'm just simply attaching ness with it. So this becomes my noun form. Then I have verb form wherein, you know, I am describing the person. Where I'm describing the person here, I'm using the word as my action word. Beautiful becomes beautify. Okay. Adjective, we use to be. Adverb, we use adjective plus ly. Necessarily adjective plus ly. Okay, these are the certain rules you have done in your earlier classes, just a plain revision. We are doing nothing new. Let's quickly move on to this part. Quickly give me the answers. Let's fill this table in next 3 minutes. Come on. Create. Give me the noun form of create, everybody. What would be the noun form of create? So create becomes creation. Very good. Creation. Give me the adjective form. Creativity. Okay. Creativity, sure. And can I have there is no, very good. It is creative and not creativity. Okay, creative. Okay, and give me the adverb form. This is creatively. Very good. Give me for courageous now, quick enough. Courageous, noun form, courage. So his courage, very good. Verb form, encourage, very good. And here, adverb, courageously, very good. Very good, students. Okay, next one, officially. Now, if I remove ly, I would get my adjective, which is official, perfect. And my verb form is no, that's incorrect. Officiate. Officiate certain word. Very good. And here it would be office. Office. And that's why you say your office word is an official word. You get it? Beauty. Tell me here, we just did this. Beautify, beautiful. And this would be beautifully. Super. Develop, noun form. So we are talking about the development. Your adjective should be developmental. Very good. Developmental projects. And we have developmentally. Okay, very good, Shubham. Now give me this one. Air. This is easy, though. Air. Verb is aerate or aerate. Aerated drinks, as you have talked about, aerated drinks. Aerate. Here, adjective to be aerial. Very good, aerial. And here you have aerially. The Prime Minister supervised the flood areas aerially. Very good. Appear becomes appearance. Adjective. No, that's in appearing. Appearing is incorrect. Incorrect. So appear, apparent. Very good. Apparent. And you have apparently. Tanishka gave the first answer, apparent. Very good, Tanishka. Applaudable. Applause. I will be discussing everything. Do not worry, Prince. Applause. Here it would be applaud. Now there's nothing called as applaudably. So here we have nothing, just a normal dash. Okay, morality, tell me verb to moralize. Moralize, moral is my adjective. Do not make that mistake. Do not make that silly error. And here we have morally. There is nothing called as moralate. No, incorrect if you have given moralate. Okay, next one you have fruity. So your noun form definitely, Pramodini is fruit, definitely. Now here give me the verb form. Verb form is fructify. Fructify. And there is again nothing called as fruitily. So nothing. There's no, not fruitified. Fructified. Arya, the only trick to remember is, imagine that you are, you're describing something. You are describing a noun or a pronoun. And that way it will help you to give an adjective form, or, the simplest trick is use to be before the word. To be fruity. Okay, that way. Clear? That's the only way out. Only way out. Okay. Let's proceed towards the next one. Next topic of the day. Now, next topic of the day, I hope, okay, before that, let's quickly solve questions from here so that officialize. No, that would be incorrect, Vedant. Give me the noun form of the word frail. Now, Sonoya, frailty. Yes, we have done this. SSC students, one of the chapters. Correct. The verb of qualification. To qualify. Very good. The adjective form of female is to be feminine. There is nothing called as feministic. Feminism is noun form. Feminism. Okay, adjective form of courage. We just did this, courageous. Okay, proceeding further. The noun form of strong. No, it won't be. No, it wouldn't be. Avishkar, in the air. Example, if we consider air to broadcast something, then won't its verb be aired? We will never ever have past tense or perfect tense of the verbs in the verb form. Always remember that. You get it? Okay. Proceeding further. Oops, here. The noun form of strong. Strength, there is nothing called as strongness. Noun form of the word remember. Make sure correct spelling, remembrance. Noun form of poor, I'm very happy, poverty. Good, good, good. Very good. The adjective form of protect, to be protective. Very good. The noun form of the word ignore, ignorance. It is not ignorant. Ignorant is the adjective form. The verb form of democracy. Let's march, student. Remember that chapter? Democratize. The noun form of the word diagnosed. The diagnosis. Very good, Jitesh. Very good. The verb form of the word speech. To speak. So speak. The adjective form of information. To be informative. Adjective form of favor. To be favoring. Or no. I guess I made a mistake. Favorite. Sorry. Favorite. Favor. Favorite. Hold on. Yeah. Next one, the verb form of practice. Here. See, whenever you are using C, it is the noun form. Whenever you are using it is using S, it is verb form. Correct. The adverb form of success, successfully. Adjective form of recommendation, to be recommended, recommend, recommendatory, recommendatory. Okay, there is, okay, fine. Uh-huh. Okay, okay, yes, yes, that's also fine. The adjective form of anger is to be angry. Very good. The noun form of injured, injury. Very good. So again, this is very much clear for everybody, easy, and you can easily score marks. Very good. Let's move on to the last grammar topic of the day. Last grammar topic, and this is a bit tedious to understand, but if you understand how the structure works, it will be easy for you. I'm taking up idioms, and maxim. Okay, let's talk about this. Now for SSC, you have done maxims, but for ICSE, this is something new. I know you must have come across things, but have never learned this in detail ever. So let's see how it goes. Let's roll into it. Idioms. Now, when I talk about idioms, words put together in a, words put together in a way whereby their meaning is different from dictionary definitions of individual words. Now, when I say this, what exactly am I meaning? What do I mean by this? You must have come across certain idioms like my heart sank on hearing the devastating news. Now, if I have to point out which is my idiom, it is easy to point out heart sank, simply because you know what is heart. Biological representation, heart, and sank basically is to sink. And together, when I put down, it does not mean that my heart is sinking somewhere. My heart sank would simply mean I was quite unhappy. I was not very happy to hear the news. I was quite very depressed hearing the news. So heart sank simply means you're unhappy or depressed. Similarly, you must have heard another particular idiom, which is run against the clock. And here it actually does not mean you are running against the clock. It simply means you are rushing because you have short time. Rushing because of short time. This is run against the clock. So here, if I have to frame a sentence, I can frame a sentence in a way. Can we talk later? Comma, I am running against the clock. Meaning I do not have time. So if you have something important to discuss, just say it, or we can talk later. This is run against the clock. Or you must have also heard this particular phrase often, idiom often, down to earth. Now, down to earth, of course, does not mean I'm buried inside the earth. Definitely not. The meaning is being sensible and realistic. So here I can frame a sentence this way. Yeah, humble, that way. Despite such riches, comma, she's so down to earth. And down to earth becomes my idiom. One more I'll give you. I have many to put down, but still, these are the very popular ones. 40 winks, which I guess I desperately need. A short nap. A short nap is 40 winks. So here I can put down a sentence. The day has almost been exhausting. Full stop. I just need 40 winks before the party. Plus, so I want sleep so that I can enjoy the party. This is 40 winks. Clear? Easy? I've given you almost all the easiest of all. I'll give you one more. Let's put this on a positive note. To go bananas. Now here, of course, I'm not bringing any bananas, but to go bananas would simply mean to go crazy. And the easiest sentence I can frame is Virat Kohli is such a gem, comma, I go bananas over him. I know it's one of the truest sentences you'll come across. So I go bananas over him. So on a very positive note, remembering Virat Kohli, I end idioms here. Okay. Let's proceed on to maxim. He is undoubtedly Ansh. Okay, coming to maxim. Now, what are maxims? Maxims are, again, you have come across, you just know the maxim, but you don't know that they are called maxim. So a short, pithy statement expressing general truth or rule of conduct. Okay, I'll give you examples and then it will be easy for you to understand what I'm saying. Suppose I say opportunity knocks, but once. You know, such kind of statements which are expressing general truth or rule of conduct. That opportunity definitely is going to knock. But then if you're waiting that, it will knock your door again and again, or stop. Once the opportunity is lost, it is lost forever. You're not going to get it back. So opportunity knocks, no wonder, but only once. So be smart enough to grab the opportunity. So a wise saying that way. Another one. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Now, this particular maxim is with regards to money, investment, definitely. But you can have it in lot many. I mean, you can use this one with too many connotations. Here, I would using it with investments. If you're investing somewhere, okay, if I'm planning to invest my money somewhere and I put it all in one place, I'm just putting it in FD or I'm just putting it in all in mutual funds, I lose my money if I have a loss. Okay, if some loss is incurred. So it is better to, it is wise enough to put all your eggs in different baskets, so that if one venture fails, you can rely on the next one. Okay, another you can have is, of course, in today's time, this maxim is worth remembering: a penny saved is a penny earned. Where because of pandemic, people lost their jobs. Now, if you still continue to live the same lifestyle you had before the pandemic, and you imagine that, things would be easy very soon, it's okay if I spend all my money, then you would have, bitter days ahead. So a penny saved, if you're saving something right now, it is as good as earning a penny, because we know that the expenses would never ever curtail down. A penny saved is penny earned. And now one important idiom, one important maxim, and I would want to end. You have heard this, a lot many companies invest so much on advertisements. You must have seen advertisement incurs a lot of expense. And why is that so? Because it is said, out of sight, out of mind. If you are not looking at things every now and then, you tend to forget those things, tend to be out of your mind. And hence, whenever you log into Google, you have certain, pop-ups coming. This ad, that ad, SBI ad, or maybe some product ad, some shampoo ad, some this ad. Why? Because people and the companies want you to look at their products, keep them in mind, and accordingly go and get for yourself. Arya, the basic difference between a proverb and a maxim is proverbs can be simple sayings. Okay, old is gold, a normal simple saying, but maxims, they are short statements which are worthwhile and helps you to helps you in your difficult times. You can plan your action, plan your activity according to it. Clear? So this was maxim. Now, hold on. With 129 students in the classroom, those who are there definitely are going to benefit. I begin with the writing skills. Now for SSC, though you have done all the writing skills so well, you know how to draft them. But what if certain questions on the same appear in your exam? How would you go about? So for everybody, from the scratch, I'm doing this. Let's tune into it. Just hold on. There we go. Information transfer. Information can be in the form of text, pictures, graphs, flowcharts, tabular charts, tree diagrams, pie charts, etc. The conversion of information, when you convert the information from one form to another, it is called information transfer. Often you must have seen that, in corporates, you have to make certain presentations. The presentation is on the screen, okay, on the visual board, and somebody is explaining that entire presentation. Okay, such kind of things is your information transfer. When you have anything written or spoken, I have certain data written. This is my verbal information transfer. On the other hand, if I have something non-verbal, how can I have non-verbal things? I can have in the form of diagrams. I can have in the form of graphs. I can have in the form of PowerPoint presentations. So how would I know which are the mediums of non-verbal transformation or non-verbal information transfer? Let's see, we have pie chart, we have tree diagrams. When I say tree diagrams, of course, the family diagram, the family tree chart you had made in your kindergarten days is also a part of non-verbal information transfer. Note making, web diagrams, flow chart, tabular data, graphs, all of this is your non-verbal representation of data. Now for SSC, you know certain things, but this is specifically for ICSE, who are quite surprised what were these words, miss? What was this web diagram and all? So let's begin with it. Let's talk about a pie chart. This is a pie chart. A pie chart looks this way: slices of information where I'm representing. For example, this particular thing is a representation of somebody's expenditure in a house. So maybe 24% of the salary that the father gets goes into buying grocery or something. 21% possibly goes into insurance. 11% goes into traveling, conveyance. 13% goes on the child's education, and smart family, 32% possibly the person is saving. So I have just given a representation. Durvesh, you can post your doubt. Durvesh Rane, post your doubt. Yeah. So this way, this is a pie chart. I'll give you other one as well. Okay, let's talk about the flow chart. Now, flow chart, you do not write anything in proper sentence. You just write specific words. For example, how to make a flow chart with regards to choosing the correct articles. So let's see a word. And if I have a word, if this word is a proper noun, I am not going to use an article. Now, if this proper noun is not a proper noun, it is a specific noun, yes, I am going to use the word article. And if it is not a specific noun, then what it is possibly an uncountable noun. If it is an uncountable noun, again, I am not using an article. If it is not an uncountable noun, is it a plural noun? If yes, again, I am not using an article. If no, does it begin with the vowel? Yes, Tanisha, you have everything for MCQs. Do not worry, I'm discussing everything. If yes, I would use an. If no, I would use a. So such things are flow chart. You just have to remember a flow chart is data where I'm confused between certain things and I don't know what has to be done. So a flow chart would then be an idealistic form of information transfer for me. Clear? Proceeding. Now this is a tabular data. Whenever sir used to send your marks on the group, tabular data. So first name, last name, age, salary, withdrawn, company's data, and such data in the form of table becomes very easy for a person to keep records. So when you are keeping records of certain students, in classes, we have kept your records. We know your first name, we know your last name, we know your mother's name, father's name, possibly the marks you get in particular subject. So this way we have a proper record. Tabular data is very easy way to maintain it. Then you have something called as do's and don'ts. Here, when you are talking about specifically, in an ideal situation, in a particular place, what should one do? What should one not do? Now, carefully pay attention. A simple revision for everybody. Whenever you are making this column of do and don'ts, you never ever use the word do again and again. It is definitely, if I'm putting it in the columns of do, this is allowed. If I'm putting it in the column of don't, it is not allowed. Drink contaminated water, obviously you are not allowed to do so. I need not use don't before the word drink. Similarly, stock upon food. During natural disasters, you should have certain food in your home so that you are not running out again and again. During the pandemic as well, we saw this, that people had stocked the food. Of course, there were certain people who stocked this food to a larger extent, which should not be done. But stocking up food is fine. Purchase lots of water because you do not know when the supply of water would be stopped. Pack spare clothes. Now here, of course, this is natural disaster. Purchase extra batteries. What are we not supposed to do? We are not supposed to panic. We are not supposed to be selfish. We are not supposed to be forgetting to wash our hands, definitely with regards to coronavirus, not to forget to wash your hands with sanitizer. So this is do's and don'ts. Questions on these would pertain in the paper, which I'm discussing later. One more, this is note making. This particular ideal thing, note making, job of a lawyer. So what are the major tasks of a lawyer? His tasks are to interview clients, to research on the case. Legal, is it a legal based one or case based one? And then, you know, take his action accordingly. So this is one type of note making, where you have several things to do, and all of these things have certain more subtopics. So note making becomes an idealistic approach. One more. We have web diagram. Now, what is web diagram for all ICSE students? For example, if I put here qualities of Steve Jobs, or qualities inspiring you, which qualities inspire you? So here you can put down multiple qualities. Qualities of Steve Jobs, I can say he was determined. Okay, he was hardworking. He never gave up on his life. So all of these qualities would then go into several boxes, rectangular boxes. This is your web diagram. So far I have given you a basic understanding of information transfer. Let's dive into what your MCQ question says. Hold on. There we go. Okay. In information transfer, if the paragraph contains rules and regulations, the best way to present it, it is rules and regulations. Tell me, where would I have rules and regulations? Definitely in C. Do's and don'ts table. Correct? In information transfer, if the paragraph contains budget allocation, tell me, if I'm talking about certain budget, where would I put the budget? I'm allocating the budget. You are allocating the budget. Whoever is giving the answer, please listen, read the question. Read the question. You allocate a budget in pie chart and not on graph. You represent it on graph, possibly. That this year I could only save 30%. Last year I could save 35%. That is graph. In information transfer, proceeding further, in information transfer, if the paragraph contains classification and sub-classification of items, correct it as flowchart, we just saw. Which of the following is a verbal expression of one's ideas on certain topic? You are putting your ideas. Definitely it is speech. Dash contains the main points of the speech. You tell me which would contain the main points. Of course, the body. By default, here you don't have to learn about it. It is simple, common sense. Which of the following part of a speech consists of short summary and acknowledgement? You would always give the summary in the end, and you would acknowledge meaning thank you, it was great to have you here, and I'm delighted that this person gave me an opportunity. All of this is conclusion. The first paragraph of a speech you are preparing would generally not include. First paragraph, you would never give the summary. Here you are just introducing yourself. Very good. Amazing. Identify which part of the speech the following phrases belong to. Suppose somebody begins, somebody says, I am Ms. Shefali Jha. I'm here to represent, to present my thoughts on children are the future of country. Of course, this would be introduction. I'm just beginning. Correct. On to the next one. Identify the ideal flow of different parts of speech. Tell me, what should the very first thing be in a speech? You introduce yourself. Very good. After which you give salutation. You are also, talking about different people. Very good. Pratik, okay, fine. Then you talk about the body and then you talk about the conclusion. So this way, ideally, tell me, but before you introduce yourself, children, don't you give salutation? Students, good morning, teachers, and all my dear friends. This is Karina Mehta. Don't you do this? You begin with the salutation, students. Here, this is what is confusing. You begin with the salutation. Salutation meaning dear so and so. Then you introduce yourself. And so my correct option is 2, 4, 3, 1. I hope everybody understood. Very good, very good. Super. Next one. For the topic, should sportsperson be given the dignity of being a government official? Which of the following statement is in support of the topic? ICSE student, we have done argumentative essay. This is a part of it. And for other students, SSC students, this is view counter view. Tell me, which would be a statement which is for the topic? Sportsperson often represent their country at an international level and bring fame to their land. Definitely all of the Olympic players. Specifically, Mirabai Chanu, she has brought fame to the country. 39th one. For the topic, importance of internet in modern times, which of the following is against the topic? I have only a few set of students who are answering. Very good, Avishkar. 39th one. Yeah. See, it is interesting with the private life of, it is interfering. I'm very sorry. It is interfering with the private life of individuals and making them antisocial. Definitely antisocial with regards to one-on-one conversation. Otherwise, everybody is way too social. For the topic, our elderly, our truest guides, which of the following statement is against the topic? So old people cannot adapt to the changing times. Definitely this is against, because we have seen old people adapting to the changes in times. You have so many teachers who have adapted this particular platform, you know. So kudos to them. 41st, for the topic, crackers, source of enjoyment. Tell me which of the following statement is against the topic? Crackers cause long-lasting air pollution. Definitely. That is against the topic. Let me give you an insight of last few more and we can then end the class. Here I have the answers. I have to be okay. 42nd. Dash involves writing in short about a particular proverb, slogan, maxim, or quotation. Definitely expansion of theme. Next one. Next one. Which of the following is not a characteristic of a good expansion of theme? Tell me. It should include all details, but no examples. Very, very right. Definitely your ideal expansion should have examples. Only then it is easy for the reader to understand your point of view. Next one, which of the following will be a topic most suited for expansion of theme? Definitely A, it's a theme. Action speaks louder. Next one, how should the expansion of a theme really begin? What do you think it should really begin with? How? With the name of the theme or idea. Definitely when I say where there is a will, there is a way. I begin that way. Okay. A number of sentences grouped together which explain in detail about a theme is in short is known as expansion of theme, students. See, same questions in number of ways they have asked. So do not get confused. The title of a news report should be dash and dash. This is just like your notice writing, students, report writing. It should be very good. It should be short and catchy. It should not be forgettable. It should be not long and forgettable. It should not be, short and catchy, to the point. The dash of the news report consists of the name of the person who is writing the report. For example, if you have read a report, students, you must have seen, generally it has by staff reporter, by student reporter. This is called as byline. The byline of the news report. The news report. In news report, the date and place of the event should be written, students, on the left side. Very good, on the left side. In news report, the dash should be in third person. The narration should be in third person. Very good, well done. So, okay, you did not understand what do you mean by byline. Okay, Chewy, usually when we write news report, okay, I'll give it to you. You'll understand better. Yeah, it is news report in paper. Now see, what generally happens is, all the students, report writing, and if I'm talking about the format of report writing, you have date, okay, written. Next line, you have venue. Then you have the headlines. Now, once the headlines is given, okay, I'm sorry, I still made a mistake. After date and venue here, you put down by staff reporter. Now, when you see by staff reporter, this is byline. Who has written this article? When you're writing about your school magazine, okay, a function happened in your school, and you are drafting the same for a school magazine, you would write by student reporter. This particular line is byline. Understood? Jui, Arya, all of the students who raised the doubts. So by far, I complete entire writing skills. If you have any doubts, then come back to me when we have doubt lectures, okay? Almost grammar, I have completed almost. Whatever few topics that remain would be covered in the upcoming classes. Otherwise, you are well prepared for CET examination. Do not panic, trust yourself. You have put in a lot of efforts getting up at 7:30 in the morning. So trust your instinct, go for it, and you can really do well. All right. So with this, I would end my class. Bye. Take care. You would pass with good marks. Do not worry. Bye-bye. Take care.